All right, it is time to get started. I want to welcome you here tonight. Very grateful for you to be able to give your time here to us here in the athletic department. So we can spend some time just hopefully giving you good information on how to navigate us best. And that you'll engage with us, that this will be a great experience for you and your kids. So let's open with a word of prayer. Father God, we are so grateful for this school. I'm grateful for wonderful parents, wonderful kids, grateful for our coaches who give so much time. We just pray for a tremendous fall season where we grow, where we experience wonderful things, where we experience hard things, and where we shine the light of Jesus wherever we are. In your name, Lord, amen. So I want to introduce Kevin Bruni, Assistant AD and Middle School AD. Kevin, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Jason. As he said, I'm the Assistant AD, and you'll see me at a lot of the high school events. Many of you know me from working at the middle school, so look forward to reconnecting with everyone. So thanks a lot, and back to Jason to introduce our athletic department staff. I'm going to be sharing the screen as we go through this, so things will start to change a little bit on everybody's viewing end, but have no fear, we're right here with you.
All right. So I am the head athletic director. And then Kevin, as we said, is the assistant AD here at the high school and the middle school head athletic director. He is also the varsity boys golf coach. He loves wearing lots and lots of hats. Carolyn Grondike, speaking of lots of hats, if you haven't met Carolyn, she wears about as many as anybody else. She is our administrative assistant, but she also does Winterim, lots of data, website, social media. Very gifted. And then Dick Vanderkamp, if you haven't met Mr. Vanderkamp, it is a worthy experience. And when he says he does everything, that's an apt description. Let's go on to the next one.
So what I was going to say is we're talking about staying connected. Carolyn drives a lot of our social media experiences for you. She keeps you well informed, gives you interesting updates, posts lots of fun stuff. So please feel free to follow us. Please actually make sure that you do. The more followers, the more likes we have, the more people can hear about the great things happening at our school. So we really want to encourage you to like and comment and share positive things on there to spread the good word about Grand Rapids Christian. And also, Carolyn is really in tune with that. If you've got great things that we can put on there, please connect with her. And also get connected to the Eagle Sport Report. Just email her and she'll get you added. It's a daily update on Eagle athletics, from things that happened the day before to things coming up. And so this is just a great place to stay connected. So as you're sitting in your meeting, why don't you go ahead and look through your social media, find that Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, or I think it's called X now or something. But go ahead and get started with that, and email Carolyn as you're thinking about it to get on that Eagle Sport Report if you're not on there already. The next one here is that we've had a lot of really exciting updates to our athletic facilities here at the high school. First is the sport performance upgrades we have in our weight room. We were able to work on a project to put more than $100,000 worth of new equipment and redesign into our weight room, and at no cost to anyone in our district. It was an awesome grant that we were able to apply for and get. And so it's really cool. Coach Dixon has worked really hard in there to not only upgrade the program and the room with me and some others, but also to add programming. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But please make sure that your children are spending some time in that new sport performance area down in the bottom of the Quest Center.
Thanks, Kevin. One of the things too I want to mention about the website, speaking as a parent with a high schooler, the iCal function where it auto feeds your personal calendar is just a gift, because as long as it's updating and pulling, it's pulling directly from my schedule star that I use to do the actual schedules in the background, and it puts it right in your phone. And you can pick which team you want to input. You can pick multiple teams if you have multiple kids playing at the high school. But just a tip for you, it's a very nice way to add it into your already existing schedule. Gainey Construction. As you know, Calvin's making a lot of exciting additions and growth over there. That's impacted us. We've had the 2 soccer fields at Gainey are now being mostly converted to a track and field area. So our JV soccer team will now practice at what's called the Phi field for at least this season for their practices, and soccer and football will play all their games at the stadium, no games over at Gainey. And we want to let you know that for right now, the entrance off of East Paris is still closed. So please go in through the Prince Conference Grounds, and there's still the regular parking at Gainey by the building, by the tennis courts. So particularly for our tennis program. But if you're going to do a cross country, we think we're still doing the alumni meet there. Just come in through the Prince Center and that'll work fine. Kevin.
Yep, that's right off the East Beltline there, kind of by that bridge that goes over the East Beltline. You can get off right there to get to that area. And we're also excited to announce that we're redesigning and repurposing some of the All City Gym and lobby. This is a project that we're getting ready. We're in the process of gaining drawings and ideas and people that are helping us manage that. And we've got a lot of really good momentum going to kind of redesign and repurpose the Gainey or the All City Gym facility and the lobby. And so it's something to get excited about. We're redoing some locker rooms there. We're going to be redoing the floor. We're going to be doing bleachers, a lot of other things. So get excited about that. There's going to be information coming out about how you can help us make that project happen. While we're going to try to preserve the history of that gym, myself and many others have a ton of memories in there, and we don't want to lose that feel and that look and that idea of the All City Gym. And so we're going to preserve that while also upgrading and bringing it up to a more purposeful way for us to use it as a high school. So we're really excited about that. And the last one is the new track, and Jason's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're also excited to be able to upgrade our track this spring. The current track is about 20 years old and showing its wear. So we'll get a brand new track. We'll start construction shortly after state finals. So look for that this summer to happen. It's going to really look great.
Our sports performance department is a vital part of our athletic program and something that all parents should get used to knowing these 2 really important people in our building. First is Coach Damon Dixon. A lot of the kids will refer to him as Dixon. But he's our director of sport performance, runs all of our strength and conditioning programs. Your son or daughter is going to come home telling you about Train Heroic, this app that all of the athletes will get on their phones, and Coach Dixon will then program workouts into their phones, whether they're in season or out of season, for them to be able to accomplish in there. He's in there with them. He's teaching. He has a great way to introduce people to the weight room and not give them too much too early, but to kind of walk them into the process. And I've been through this with him for almost 12 years now. And there's very few people that are better than him. And so we're excited about what he does with our athletes. He's also beginning some 5th through 8th grade programming so that you guys as parents and your athletes start to learn a little bit about sport performance as you go through our middle school program. It's really exciting. A lot of our programs reach down to 5th grade, and now so will sport performance. So we're really excited about his initiative and excitement about expanding that program into our 5th through 8th grade building as well.
Thanks, Kevin. Sherry Ollie is our athletic trainer. She came on board in October last year from the east side of the state, and just does a remarkable job. She is a gifted trainer, very experienced across all the sports. And she's one of her first initiatives was getting all of our AEDs across the district updated and modernized. I'd started that project 11 years ago, and it needed a real overhaul, and she's done a great job with that. So you can look forward to all brand new AEDs across the district. But there's her contact information there. You can lean on her for if your child is injured. You can rest assured that you'll get fantastic care.
One more thing about that, parents, if your son or daughter needs to see Sherry and they're trying to see her during the school day, there is no way for them to see her prior to 2:30 p.m. Jason, I think you said that today. And so unless she sets up a very specific appointment with your son or daughter, Please don't encourage your son or daughter to try to find her during the day or miss class or something like that. Sometimes kids will do that. Just know if you need to see the trainer, which is really important for us to see her, and she can help direct your care. Make an appointment with her so she can arrange for that to work out well during the school day for your child if it's immediate care needed.
Yeah, great reminder. We definitely don't want them missing class. Let's talk a little bit about sharing Grand Rapids Christian with others. It's really important that our parents partner with us in how we handle the issue of undue influence. We love Grand Rapids Christian. I've sent all my kids here. You send your kids here. It's a great school. We do a lot of things very, very well. We've got great coaches. But it's important that when you talk with people about Grand Rapids Christian, that you're not saying, hey, we need a point guard over at Grand Rapids Christian or a shortstop or something like that. We don't recruit kids to be athletes at Grand Rapids Christian, and we certainly don't offer special scholarships for that. Tell them about your personal experience, how much you love it, great the classes are. And then if anybody wants to get more specific, we refer them to Vicki Fisher and admissions. We certainly believe in Grand Rapids Christian. We want kids to come here, but it's important that we're doing it the right way. The attendance policy. At its root, if your son or daughter is too sick to come to school, they want to sleep in, get some extra rest, then they're too sick to participate in athletics. So they need to be there before 10 a.m. and they have to be excused. So send your son or daughter to school. They can tough out we've had on occasion the call to, they're really tired or they've got a headache. Again, if they're too sick for school, they're too sick for athletics. We want to support academics 100% here in our department. And then to be excused, a doctor's note, and then a college visit will be excused. Obviously, weddings and funerals are also excused. If you have a question, send me an email or call me. I know that there are sometimes some unique circumstances. Let's talk about our amazing boosters. It's a parent-run organization. You can see we raise money for all the sports, and we work really hard to make sure it's balanced. So I don't want you to picture that, football, this is for football. That's not at all the case. We raise money for all the athletics, and we try to be really balanced with male and female, some of our smaller sports in terms of numerically, and sports that are really large like cross country or track and field. Concession stand for those of you that are you have a child participating in the season. The expectation is that you're going to cover 2 events that season. We know that everybody's busy, but this is part of our hospitality of us hosting events, and we need parents to help. And trust me, once you get in there, you have a blast. Meet other parents. You get parents see your friendly face when they come to buy a hot dog. We really need you. You got Jason Porte's email on there. If you have any questions, I'd also encourage you, if you're not familiar with Grand Rapids Christian, you're not plugged in, you really have an urge for that, getting involved in the boosters is a great way to do that. It's kind of like an instant group of 20 friends. We meet once a month on Wednesdays in the evening. We have a lot of fun planning, a lot of fun giving back to Grand Rapids Christian athletics. Kevin.
All right. I want to thank Jason for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about grit leadership. I mean, it's piloted here at Grand Rapids Christian years ago. By the grace of God, it's spread around our area, around our state and our country. And I appreciate him believing in kind of these ideas that we talked about. And I'm honored to be able to share a little bit of this passion with you today, in something that I think will really help us to kind of rethink things. Grit leadership exists for you, for your kids. It officially exists to equip and empower leaders to build a gritty, more adaptable, more resilient generation of people, whether that's the generation you are in or the generation that you lead, your children. But it helps coaches and ADs lead with more effective strategies that maybe rethink the norms of society. Maybe then that helps us decide if we have a better way to lead than what the normal way is. And so tonight I have 2 things centered around athletic performance. and emotions that we feel as parents and as ADs and as coaches and all these things, the leaders as ambassadors of Grand Rapids Christian Athletics. And these things can be challenging for us to manage. And so I just wanted to spend a little bit of time to chat about this. And I appreciate Jason giving us the opportunity to do it. Anybody here have one of these stickers on their car? I think it's great. It shows that you're a supporter of Grand Rapids Christian and that the people in that car represent Grand Rapids Christian. But what's interesting is that the way that car behaves on the road also says something about Grand Rapids Christian. And so, as I'm driving on East Paris and somebody cuts me off and I see the sticker on the back of their car and it's from another school that maybe I don't support as much, I think, oh yeah, that figures. A person from that school would cut me off and behave like that. So they're putting out something to others by having a sticker on their car that's representing that school. And what I want to say is that, we represent Grand Rapids Christian, but more importantly, we also represent Christ and Christianity. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing we're putting Christ on display for all to see. And so that's why typically on all my cars, I put this sticker on the back just to be safe. Okay. But in all seriousness, we're called to be different as Christians and as Grand Rapids Christian. Jesus was much different than the norm. I believe we're called to be different than the norm as an athletic community by the way we play, the way we act in the stands, the way that we communicate together. And so today, it can be really hard, right? It can get really difficult in the very public world of athletics when emotional things happen and the norm or how we see things happening starts to take over and we start to react in those ways. And I think we can handle them better if we're thinking about it than what the norm or what society does. Here's Duke's women's basketball coach, Karen Lawson, who's a force in leadership, talking about how things are hard, but how we can handle hard better.
How we all wait in life for things to get easier. Think in your own life, if you waited for something to get easier, I just got to get through this and then it'll be easy. I just got to get through preseason and then it'll be okay. I've just got to get through my junior year of high school and then the classes are going to get easier. I've just got to get to my spring, my senior year of college, it's going to be easier. It's what we do. We wait for stuff to get easier. It will never get easier. What happens is you handle hard better. That's what happens. Most people think that it's going to get easier. Life is going to get easier. Basketball is going to get easier. School's going to get easier. It never gets easier. What happens is you become someone that handles hard stuff better. So that's a mental shift that has to occur in each of your brains. It has to. Because if you go around waiting for stuff to get easier in life, it's never going to happen.
And I show this because putting Christ on display can be a really challenging thing. In emotional moments, it's never going to get easier to put Christ on display in a positive way. It's only going to get harder. And so really it's about, are we going to handle this hard thing and this public thing of athletics better than the norm? Can we rethink how we do it to handle it a little bit better? So today, stuff centered around coach and player choices. This is a huge thing that all of us, whether we watch TV, go to a game, whether we know the players or don't, when we see things happen in sports and the player decisions and the coach decisions, we become critics. We become people that start to think about it and know a little bit better. And so the first thing I want to talk about is the idea of resulting. Super Bowl 49, 20 seconds left, one timeout, second down, at least 3 plays left in the game from the 1-yard line. The Seattle Seahawks have the best running back in the league, Marshawn Lynch, and they have the second best quarterback in the league besides Tom Brady, of course, in Russell Wilson. And they have a choice to make with 20 seconds left. How are they going to handle these last few plays with only one timeout? Here's what happened.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
They try to pick play, Al. They tried to go here, but he beats them to the punch. And I'm sorry, but I can't believe the call.
Me neither.
I cannot believe the call. You've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that's been borderline unstoppable in this part of the field. I can't believe the call.
You can imagine what the rest of this video is about. It's sound bites of every announcer that ever announced or had credibility saying this is the worst call in Super Bowl history. And why? Because it didn't work. The result wasn't what they thought, so they make a judgment and it didn't work. But what if that pass had taken them by more surprise and they scored a touchdown? Everybody would say, oh my gosh, it was the greatest play in the history of sports. You have the best running back in the league. The Patriots think they're going to run the ball. And what do? They throw the pass and win the game. It's brilliant. Or what if it was incomplete? And then what if they threw another one and then they ran it in and they said, oh man, but they just kept them off balance because they wanted to maximize the clock, use all 3 plays, keep the Patriots guessing, and then they won. Like there's a million ways this could have worked out and all the commentary would have been different. It's what we call resulting. Results are totally uncontrollable. The only thing we get to control is our decisions and our choices. And often in life, we base our happiness or our positive or negative thoughts or our approval, disapproval, or when we think someone's smart or dumb or great or bad on something that's totally uncontrollable. And maybe this is normal to do that, but maybe it's not wise. I would call it living on the roller coaster of results.
Play clock at 5.
See, everybody's going to do things that you don't understand. And in those moments, I think it's really important for us to think about, do we want to be on the roller coaster of results? I plead with you, don't think a coach is great because they won and don't think a coach is bad because they lost. There's so much more to it. Same with the players. And again, it's normal to live the roller coaster of resulting. And everybody knows better once something happened. Just like all those announcers, they all knew better once the bad thing happened. But we have to it's really hard to be emotional in those moments and stay calm and not make those judgments and not say it to everyone. It's really hard. It's not going to get easier, especially when your kid's involved. But if we're conscious of it, we might be able to catch ourselves and handle that hard thing of resulting a bit better. And then the second thing around player choices is the idea of, is it right or effective? And so the clip that I have for you is from the Cavs and Golden State Warriors. The game was tied with 4 seconds left. George Hill, a 10-year veteran, misses a free throw to put them ahead. J.R. Smith actually gets the offensive rebound, has a chance to win the game, but thinks they're already ahead. To us, an unthinkable thing, but he made a mistake. And the following footage is what happens after the timeout, or after the quarter ends and they go into overtime. This is what happens.
Now, have you ever been in a situation where you messed up and everyone around knows that? That's what he's feeling. Shame. The only person that has the power to rectify the situation is LeBron. Has there been any communication yet? They're both on an island. Now, it's really easy to sit here and judge LeBron, but I'm going to challenge you to think back to when you were in school and you had to do group projects and you were carrying all the work. That's what it feels like. So LeBron at this point in the game has 49 points and has played arguably one of his greatest games of all time. The guy that missed a free throw was a 10-year veteran. JR was a 14-year vet and he forgot time and score. And the coach didn't call a timeout. So it could be very easy for LeBron to sit here and think, I'm pulling all the weight. Can we agree with that? Notice no words have still been spoken by LeBron to JR. Now, what you're going to see is Tyronn Lue, the head coach, is going to come into the huddle momentarily, and LeBron's going to ask him a question. Pay attention to the body language. So he's searching. He asked Tyronn, do we not have any timeouts? This is the moment that LeBron finds out that they did have a timeout and Tyronn didn't call it. What's his body language say to you? He's in the tunnel. I'm going to LA. Now you're going to see a role player come up and try and reach LeBron. LeBron is unreachable. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective?
I love where that pauses, because often as parents, as adults in the gym, on the field, in the stands, we're LeBron. We're the one that can make the difference. We can bridge the gap. We can bring healing to the situation. And we have the power to do so. And it's hard because in those moments, we know what went wrong. We feel like we've got the right answers and that we know how to fix it. And we want to be right. And we can be on islands and we can not build bridges. We can do all those things. And LeBron is an incredible player. And I guarantee you, he learned a ton from this situation, but they lost the game. They lost the series. LeBron was right. He was handling everything. His emotions told him that, and it didn't help. And he needed to be effective. And it's really hard to sit in the stands with those emotions and those moments and not yell out at the player. But then we got to remember that that player's parents and family are sitting right in front of us. And that there's people around us that are wondering, what is Grand Rapids Christian like? And they hear us yelling at a player for making a dumb play. And then we yell at the coach. And we forget that the coach's family is sitting there. And the coach's mom, the coach's wife or husband. And people wonder, like, what is it like here? And it's hard because we want to be right. We want to tell everybody why we're right. And I'm really good at that too. And it's not a good and admirable thing about me. And I have to work really hard at this one. But it's normal to let those emotions out in sport. We do it to refs, we do it to coaches, we do it to fans, we do it to everybody. We let those emotions out and it's normal, but maybe it's not the best. Maybe it doesn't put Christ on display in the way that we could, and it's really hard. But maybe we can handle that hard thing a little bit better. And so we wear the C and we wear Christ in our athletic programs. We wear Christian on our jerseys and our hats and our cars. It's not going to be easy because we will disagree. We want to do what feels normal in those emotional moments. But if we can put Christ on display in a positive way by handling hard things better, maybe staying off the resulting roller coaster a little bit and focus on being effective people that are bridge builders, that give what the team needs in those moments instead of trying to be right. Maybe we can make an even bigger difference in our own community, to each other first and foremost, but even more to those around us, and most importantly, to the kingdom of Christ, how we put him on display. Go Eagles, and thank you very much for listening.
Amen. Thanks, Kevin. That segues nicely into, how do you deal with adversity in athletics in high school? And first off is a mindset towards adversity. It's going to happen. That part of that is by design. This is an artificial way that you get to test and mold and shape kids in a way that's not dangerous. It's not in the military. You're not doing basic training, which molds people in a totally different way. This is us putting kids in hard spots that's going to reveal character and shape character. So talking about the process, the first piece of, if things aren't going well, how you talk about coach around the dinner table, you can sink or help a kid swim right there. If you are playing into the coach just doesn't know what they're talking about. Our club coach said this, that you should be X, Y, and Z, and that's the dinner table talk. It'll make it so hard for your kid to be successful. Listen to your kid and then offer constructive feedback for it and help frame it for them so that they can approach the adult and learn this skill. Okay. Prep them, encourage them, let them do it. I've done this with my own children. It is a gift to be able to establish this skill set here in high school rather than wait till college or the workplace. The next step, parent and player and the coach. If your son or daughter wasn't able to resolve it directly with the coach and you need to get involved, you attend, and like it says there, become a spotter. Again, let your son or daughter lead the communication, help keep things moving. But really, again, we want to teach our kids how to work with adults, work with their boss, so to speak. We still can't get resolution, then that's when I'll get involved, and all of us will meet. I really don't like meetings occurring without the student athlete present. Very little constructive gets done. You talk about the issue, but you don't actually address the issue. You have to have the student athlete in the meeting. So supported parenting. We're talking about putting Christ on display. We're ambassadors for Christ. All right. Unfortunately, the rest of our community, in terms of, Forest Hills, East Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids area, they don't get to see what goes on in our English classes, science classes, just the amazing stuff, how great those teachers are. They just don't get to see it. What everybody gets to see is what goes on at Grand Rapids Christian. So being that ambassador wherever we go is key. It is putting forward the best image possible of Grand Rapids Christian, putting Christ on display. One of the things I really want to encourage you, if you were part of the middle school or you're part of Ada Christian, you're kind of plugged in. You got your friends, everybody, you sit in a little group, but we have probably 40% of our high school student body are not from our non-traditional feeders. I want you to invite those parents to come sit with you, get to know them, reach out, involve them. It makes your experience better and their experience definitely so much better. Please include them. We want to cheer for our team, not against the other team, and leave the opponents and officials alone. Really leave the officials alone. Obviously, there's no reason to ever speak to a child from another team or a coach from another team. But we want to be supportive of our officials. We're going to disagree with calls, but we can all handle that like adults. I'll let out a little groan too. I thought a strike should have been called for my kid while he's pitching. But I'm certainly not going to ever say anything to the official. And we appreciate just that we have them available for the game. So why is it so hard to find coaches and officials? Folks, we got to be honest. The issue right now is 95% parent driven. Parent complaints, parent aggressiveness towards coaches and officials. And Mark Ewell says it so well here. Where else in the world is it acceptable to pay $5 and then feel like we can treat a human being any way we feel like it? My willingness to tolerate poor behavior is pretty much nil at this point. I want to be really clear about in terms of what your role is to talk to a coach. If there is a safety issue, your child's health, and I don't mean their mental wellness as related to their amount of playing time. That's manipulation. I'm talking about their actual health. Are they suffering from, they're not sleeping well, the lack of motivation? Those are good things to talk to coach about. But I absolutely don't want you to speak to coaches at any point about playing time or strategy. Not once, not ever. I'll be meeting with many of our teams where I'll say this again to you and to the kids and to the coaches, all in one group. No discussion about playing time or strategy. Parents can parent, players can play, coaches will coach. We'll have everybody stay in their lane, and we have way more fun when we do that. Our coaches, they want to know you. They want to be connected to you, but you have to be kind. You have so much power. When you send an email and a coach sees from a parent, they're filled with anxiety. Like, oh no, what is it going to be? Are they going to attack my decision-making, attack how much I care about a kid? question my credibility, my basic ability to coach. Be kind. Don't be under the illusion that there are lots of coaches out there. There are not. We are blessed because we have a great community that treats coaches well. Love on them. If there are shortcomings, you get a chance to do a parent opinion survey at the end of the season. Mr. Bruni and I read that very carefully. We take it very seriously. We want to know what's going on, but there are appropriate avenues to handle that. Treat our coaches kindly. Thank you for that. Faith formation. So in the chat, if you could maybe share with us what you hope that your son or daughter will share or will experience spiritually at Grand Rapids Christian. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Part of the reason that we asked this question is that we hope that we can help lead our coaches in how to hit the mark well with your son and daughter. And so we know if what you're after is something we ask in the parent opinion surveys as well. But if you can give us some of that information, we relay this list to our coaches so that they know kind of where we want as a parent community our kids to be reached. And so getting that information, it can be a secret and we can hope that coaches do it great. But if we give them a little bit of a hint, they tend to find the mark a little bit quicker. So if you don't mind spending a minute to write something in your chat, it would really be helpful for us to develop a list on what you hope your son or daughter gets through the classroom of athletics in the world of spiritual development.
Yeah, if we can actually we'll just take a minute to pause, and if you guys can put that in the chat, we would love to see it. Make sure you send it to everybody if you can. This is really important to our department. We love Jesus. We want our kids to love Jesus. And working with your kids in this regard is a privilege that our coaches have and that we have.
Love some of the comments coming in. Please continue to send them. It's so encouraging to see these things that our coaches are trying to do. And so when you can send us those, we know how to hit the mark for you. So thank you as Jason continues to go, please keep typing those in. The more information you give us, the better we can do to make sure our coaches are hitting that mark for you and your children.
Absolutely. So in that vein, we really want a great thing to talk about around the dinner table is what's coach doing for your faith formation. And then we don't say devotions because that kind of pigeonholes it to a quick verse and a quick prayer. And, there's lots of different ways. We do small groups, book studies. We've had some incredibly powerful times when parents come and share their story, their testimony with the team. So really important for you to check in with your son or daughter. And then also feel free to reach out to the coach. If you have a particular gift in this area, we would love to see that used with your team. All right, let's go to the next one. So in both the stadium and the Quest, we have what are called our NFHS, our Pixelot cameras. They're automated cameras that video every game and hopefully show the scoreboard overlaid in it as well. And you can sign up for that service through NFHS. You can see that NFHS network. I think it's $10.99 for 3 months. If your parents, grandparents, aunt and uncles, if they're in Arizona and your son or daughter's playing volleyball or football or basketball, which are in those, the Quest or the stadium, you can send them that. They can sign up for it and they can watch the games. And many of our opponents also have the same system. This is the system that the MHSAA uses. So playoff games are published through this system. Just want to encourage you to use that. It's another way for you to connect with family and friends who aren't able to watch games. The video board. This is really our full second year of doing this. We're super grateful to have Holly Leaguewater She runs the video board for us. If you have ideas or you have a company that's interested in sponsorship on there, reach out to me and I'll connect you to the right people. We use it now for senior nights. Our boosters use it for advertising. We've had a lot of fun promotional videos. So we're excited to keep developing. We have one in the Quest and one in the stadium. Kevin?
Yeah, all sports passes. If you're going to attend ticketed events such as soccer, volleyball, basketball, football, things like that, if you have a child doing that, it's really a good idea to get an all sports pass. You're going to save money in the long run. And so if you're interested in doing that, they're available to purchase on the website, and you can pick them up in the athletic office if you've already purchased them. Remember that your high school students get in for free, but your middle school and elementary school students do not. And so if you have a family that's going to be attending, one of your child's games in those ticketed sports, it's often a better deal for you to get the pass. The high school students get in free because it's already paid for and part of their tuition package. So they're in free, but the middle school and elementary school students are not. So please consider the all sports pass and come and support teams and cheer us on and put Christ on display through how we do that. Transportation, we're always looking for bus drivers, people that want to give back to our community by helping our kids get places safely, especially in athletics. Typically, we only have one, maybe two buses on a given day that we have a driver for that can help us get our students. And so because of that, we end up with some parent transportation. So if you know some people that are interested, maybe looking for a part-time job that could do some driving for us, that's older than 16 years old, like one of your children might be, we're really interested in talking to you about that so we can get more bus drivers. We try to promote getting kids to games like freshman teams, JV teams that don't have as many drivers to the area games. We also try to really make sure that we have buses taking kids to things that are outside of our county for the most part, so that it's not as much driving. There's sometimes that your coach is going to ask for parent transportation, and that really means that we couldn't get a bus for your team, and so we need parents to drive because it's too far for kids to drive. And so please help each other, carpool, work together. To make that happen for your team and your teammates. All parents are excited when people are willing to help carpool and drive, and it means a lot to everybody on the team. And then the last thing we're going to do is Jason. His kids have started to graduate through the program, and he's had some time to reflect. He's got one son left that is going to be a senior this year, and has thought a little bit about, and probably a lot about, actually, that's why he wants to talk about it today, about things he wish he knew when he started as a high school parent. And so he just has a couple of things he wants to share with you to wrap up our time. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat for us. We'll be taking questions at the end, and it'll be kind of an open question time, or you can certainly unmute when we're finished and ask us a question if you would like to do that. But Jason, go ahead. A couple of things that you've been reflecting on that you wish you knew when you started as a high school parent at GR Christian.
For sure. Kevin stole my thunder a little bit with the carpooling thing. Let me tell you, that is a game changer, and you need to be aggressive as a parent. We were shy when we first started at Grand Rapids Christian. We're carting 4 kids all over the place. Finally, I was just like, I'm going to ask everybody who wants to share rides, because this is miserable. So carpool, Kevin's exactly right. Another big one, I guess this one's a little bit about as a dad, but also as your athletic director, what I wish you knew is how many times, club sports is important. We need kids to play club to get better. We wish they wouldn't be single sport athletes. We still think there's a strong benefit. What we wish the parents knew was to come and ask us about your kid. Come and ask us, what do you think? Should he do this club? Should he go D2 across the nation? Should he go Division I? Because typically what happens is they only ask the club coach, and what looks best for a club coach is just to simply have you go the highest thing possible so they can put it on their board or their website to continue to prop up their club. They make money off you. We don't make money off you. We love your kid. and we want the best for them. And it's not that we have all the answers, but right now, in general, parents are just talking to the club coaches. And we're seeing a lot of kids, a fair number, probably wind up in spaces that aren't as good for them as other places could be. So just talk to your coach. Come and talk to one of us in the department if you have questions. You don't have to take our advice, but we have a very different perspective from the club coaches. Strength training. It is a game changer. Not all the kids are going to be, 6 foot for a girl and, be able to jump 25 inches, or for a boy, 250 pounds and 6'4". Weight training is a huge edge for your son or daughter. If you're interested in them really getting better, sometimes you can't control how skilled they are, how tall, whatnot. The weight room is where they need to get. And we've built some nice new tools. Kevin's really been involved with Damon Dixon and Mr. Maccabee in helping create some new classes that will give access to weight training during the school day and before the school day and 0 hour. But before you go and spend more and more money on personal trainers, special this and that, make sure your son or daughter is in the weight room 3 times a week. Damon is a ton of fun to work with. They'll call him a tyrant, but they love him. Just really want to encourage that.
Hey, Jason, this is a great time for you to grab that golf photo on my desk there of all the players. So many people, just to his point of strength training, being 6'4" and 250 doesn't make you hit the golf ball better, but it does make you a better athlete. And strength training does make you sacrifice a little bit of maybe what you want to do for something that you should do. And it does make you do things that are really challenging and really hard, that make you uncomfortable. And look at that golf team right there holding a state championship. That's one of the fittest golf teams I've ever seen. And I'm proud of those guys 110% for being in that weight room all year long, 3 days a week, working on it. Even though a big bench press doesn't mean you're going to hit the ball 300 yards. It's just those other things that shape the individual being together and being part of it. So at the very least, encourage your son or daughter to be a part of that, because it does make a difference for the way it forms their brain and their competitiveness, and also their social relationships and being part of something else. So couldn't agree with that one more, Jay. Thanks.
Just a couple of more things. What Kevin, Carolyn, Camp, and I, everybody in the athletic office, all of our coaches do, we do because we primarily believe in Christian education. We love athletics. We love our kids. And believe it or not, we really love our parents. We have fantastic parents here at Grand Rapids Christian. Come and get to know us. Come and talk to us while we're standing on the fence. Come into the office. If you're dropping stuff off, come back to athletics. Grab a Jolly Rancher. Come and say hi. We love to get to know you. Those relationships are so important to us. We love it when, you got 3 or 4 kids and we get to have your kids for 10 years through the high school. But remember that we're people, our coaches are people. They have they've got a husband or a wife, they've got kids. Treat them accordingly. So the last piece I want to share is, I had a lot of hopes and dreams for my sons. They're come through high school and they're going to be all this for basketball and football and baseball. I had them in the, kind of the big 3, if you will. And Grand Rapids Christian has some sports that are really competitive. And yeah, my kids, a little bit Esther's fault. That's my wife's fault, I think, that they're not as tall as they should be. I'm just kidding, of course, honey, if you're watching this. But we had to pivot. We had to pivot and have the boys try some other sports. And I just want to encourage you for that to see your son or daughter honestly. And we have a lot of different opportunities that parents often don't consider. They're like, oh, my kid is going to be a baseball player. They're going to be a volleyball player. And when it doesn't work out, whether that's freshman year or junior year, they're like, we're just done. And then they missed out on swimming or golf or tennis or track or cross country. When
Bowling,
some of them- what's that?
bowling.
Yeah. My youngest, Zeke, he was a pretty good basketball player and chose instead to do bowling as a freshman. And last year he had a pretty good year after 3 years of practice. So, and it's opened up brand new doors for him for college. We were not a bowling family. So I just want to encourage you to, to look at your son or daughter honestly. If what they've done up to that point isn't looking like it's going to continue, we have lots of different things for them to try and great coaches to teach them. We've had our JV girls golf coach. She switched to golf in high school and then went and golfed in college. Had a wonderful experience. So just want to encourage you with that. At this point, we want to just open it up for, you can ask questions through the chat. The meeting is officially over. We're so grateful for you. Thank you for spending this time with us. Grateful for Kevin's presentation. He has a tremendous gift to teach and to lead. We're grateful for him. We're just, the meeting's over, but now at this point, we want to open it up to questions.
The other thing I would say, Jason, is when it comes to like being an early parent in college recruiting, and my child wants to play college sports and those sorts of things, that can be a really big thing that most people don't know a lot about. We encourage you to talk to your coaches about that, but also talk with us. We can help guide you and give you some information that maybe you're going to get differently from all these different places. But we've seen kids go to the NBA. We've seen kids play Division III sports. We've seen kids all over the board, and we know how all those recruitments went and what was good and what was bad about them. And we've seen a lot of people kind of, accidentally mess it up. And so if you've got questions, please don't hesitate to use this as a resource. That's what we're here for.
So again, we'll continue to stay on, but the meeting is officially over. If you have any other questions, feel free to unmute and ask us, or you can ask them in the chat. And Kelly asks a great question. I'm going to actually answer it out loud. She asks, her son's in a winter sport, and you definitely can train it in the fall. Our training is purposefully be able to translate between sports. So different sports can all train together. Have your son go down to the weight room and check in with Dixon about times that he can lift. If nobody else has any other questions, Mr. Bruni, are you all set?
I'm good.
Okay, folks, we are going to sign off. Again, we're here every day. Come and see us, email, call, and we're grateful for you. God bless you all. And we look forward to a wonderful school year. Bye-bye.